Well, that was a tough one. We never got in sync all night. Our rhythm was bad, I think, from beginning to end, and they had a lot to do with that. It's a very good basketball team. They play well together. The Walters kid is the real deal, and as good a point guard as we've played all year. I compared him to the Odom kid with a jump shot, and he proved that tonight. I thought he really controlled the game for 40 minutes and did a really good job of running their team. You can tell that he's their leader, and other guys play very well off of him. And they deserved it. I thought they played better than we did in a lot of different areas. First time we've been out rebounded a long time. So it was definitely a game that they deserved.
Out of sync from the beginning, how much of that had to do with Kendall and Chad?
I think a lot.
What was that about?
They were late getting to the game. So I have no idea how that happens. But if you're a believer in Santa Claus, I hope they get some alarm clocks.
Those are two players that have been getting a lot of praise from everyone around the program in the last few weeks as well.
That's what happens. You have to be able to stay in check and handle things, whether it's good or bad. When you're in college athletics, you've got to be able to handle things. And that sometimes is getting kicked in the tail, and sometimes that's getting patted on the back. But ultimately it comes down to the sacrifices of team and being unselfish. And we expect all of our guys to be on time. If we say this is the time you got to be at the game, that's the time you got to be at the game. There are no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And there's no question it got us out of sync. And it wasn't because of Cam and Pancake. I thought those two did a lot of good things in the first 5 minutes of the game.
You guys are coming off the back-to-back rivalry games, Christmas coming up, and maybe a little looking ahead to.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can always look at those things, and players, and we addressed that after the game. That if that's what happened, that's a really soft mentality. We've talked about it all year long. That each 40-minute game is the most important game, and that's what you've got to tackle, and that's what you've got to really focus and concentrate on. And you can say the same thing, but they've been on a bus for 19 hours trying to get from Nashville. So those aren't excuses. Two teams had to play tonight, and one team was a lot more focused than the other at both ends of the floor. And the undiscipline that we've had now here off the floor, and that showed up on the floor tonight. Our offense was executed extremely poorly. Basically, they held us to the 50s. We threw in 2 bombs late, but this was a team that held us in the 50s on our home floor. And I can give them a lot of credit defensively, but I also credit a really lack of execution offensively on our guys' part.
Where was the battle of the boards won, Coach? Was it along those same lines?
Well, I thought Dykstra did a lot of good things. Fegan and Dykstra are 2 physical guys inside. I thought we did a good job on Dykstra for most night because I think he's a pretty scary scorer. But they just got away from us on the backboard. It wasn't so much the offensive board. It's a little deceptive. I mean, I said we got out-rebounded, but it's a little deceptive because they only had 7 offensive rebounds. We missed more shots than they did. So if neither team's going to get a lot of offensive rebounds, the other team's going to win the rebounding war because of missed shots. And we missed a lot more shots than they did.
We'll start the second half. You really tried to get Alex involved, but he just.
Yeah, I thought that's hard. He's been going at it at a very high level, and Alex has played very, very well. This probably wasn't one of his better ones, but it's not because of a lack of trying. It's hard, and from a rivalry week to the finals and everything else, you could just tell he and Cam were a little step slow. So hopefully we can get the break. They can get home, see their families for a little bit. It's been a great run. We're at 12-1. And now we've got, if you look at our schedule, it just gets harder and harder. You got to go play at Cincinnati, who's the best team we've played. You got to go to St. Louis, who's probably the most disciplined team we've played. And then you come home and open up the season with UNLV. So it's a very demanding stretch. So hopefully the break comes at a good time where they can clear their heads and come back and refocus on the things that we've done pretty good all year.
With you guys over the break, what is the schedule? They get to go have some Christmas days off, or?
They get the next 2 days. A lot of them will be leaving today or either going with family and friends today, and then we'll practice Christmas night because we leave the next day.
One other one on Walter. He seems to come up with a lot of his points and a lot of his big plays when you guys did have maybe a 4-0 run or just have put together back-to-back.
Well, that's what really good players do. They have a good feel for the game. We call it feel for the game, and I thought that's his greatest strength is he's got a tremendous feel for the game. You never see him out of control. We took a charge on him tonight. That might be the first time he's committed a charge in maybe 8 games. He knows how to use his body. He's very skilled with the ball. He comes up with those runners in the lane. He makes a big three or he makes a big pass. All around, just a really nice player. He's very talented.
Coming in, did you think that your guards were going to do a better job on him defensively?
Well, I would have hoped. Yeah, we've done a pretty good job through 12 games, so I would have hoped. We knew and respected him a great deal and knew he was really good. But he got away from us, 28, 7, and 5. That's getting away from us. But even with all that, they score 70 at the end because we have to extend the game by fouling. They're really around low 60s, but they held us to the mid 50s. And you just like I think our record's some ridiculous record and won when we've held teams under 60. You're not going to win games if you can't score 60 plus points. And tonight it was evident we offensively we weren't in a very good flow. Well, every loss stings. We're all competitors, so they all sting. You don't like any of them. So, but we are 12-1. Our guys have done a lot of good things. As I told them in the locker room, I just don't like how we lost. I know we took a really good shot from a very solid team, but I just don't like some of the ways that we did lose. And a lot of that is some of the discipline things that mean so much to our program. And that puts us in a little bit of, now how are we guarding pick and rolls? How are we going, all those changes to be the game, you're doing that an hour before the game. That's not how we do things. So that's the most frustrating thing, and hopefully there'll be lessons that are learned and we can move on.
Coach, can you make any comments about Cincinnati?
I just know they're really good. They're the best team we've played to date, just in what I've seen, but I've seen them very little.
Your production from what normally would be the bench has fallen off, particularly Walker and Fenton.
Well, Fenton was pretty good tonight. Fenton's had 6 points, 2 assists, no turnovers. But that's fine. In 14 minutes, I'll take that from Jamal. He didn't turn the ball over. I thought he guarded really well. Walks in a shooting slump. He's not making a lot of shots. But his playing time that's not going to be the deterrent. The deterrent is with all of our guys of what you do defensively. That's why Pancake got the start. Pancake's been defending very well in practice. So if you guard and defend, you're going to get minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.